Hello, my peaceful friends. How are you? I'm good. Hope to be universally good with all my viewers. All 12 of you. Anyway, hope you're doing all right. How's your year so far? Have you accomplished anything? Have you deaccomplished anything? Well, that's good. We'll talk about that later. We got other people listening. It's kind of rude to have just a one-on-one. So anyway, this beautiful old-looking guitar, man. Old as hell looking, man. I was at the swap meet the other day, man. I was like thinking to myself, man, I'm not gonna go to the swap meet. You know what I'm saying? It's cold out. I'm not gonna go. You know, I'm tired. I worked so hard this week. My real job. You know what I mean? I just want to sleep in. And I couldn't sleep. You know, I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? I look out the window and it looked like it snowed outside a little bit. There was a little snow on the deck. I was like, oh no. Snow outside. I went downstairs. I had a coffee. You know what I mean? I sat there and I don't really even drink coffee. I was just looking outside. You know what I mean? I was like, hey, man, I'm going to go to swap meet. So I get in the car. I go to McDonald's. I get some, food at McDonald's. I'm getting my all pumped up. My regular, I get some food at McDonald's when I go to swap meet. It's like, good luck. You know what I mean? I'm getting my regular old, trying to, get myself pumped up. I'm going to swap meet, man. And I'm getting to swap meet and the snow's starting to go heavier and heavier. And I was like, oh no. You know what I mean? The snow's not like rain though. You know what I mean? Snow's just like, you know what I mean? So I get to the swap meet. Some people are kind of like confused. You know what I mean? Look, some people looking for Frosty. Some people looking for weed. You know what I mean? Whatever people go to swap meet for. You know what I mean? People are running around like, oh, they're a little confused about this because like it was the first snow of the year. You know what I mean? It was the happiest season of all. The swap meet. Anyway, it was a remarkable day for me. I got all kinds of crazy stuff. Even if it hadn't snowed, it was cold as hell out there. It was freezing out there. I got like the two crazy amps. One amp, I think it belonged to Richie Blackmore, or maybe even Ronnie James Dio. We'll save that for amp month for a while from now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put it away because I want to study it a little bit more. Crazy, I picked that up. And I got another amplifier that was like, look at this. It was a little messed up, but it was pretty cool. I didn't pay hardly anything for it. And the guy's like, it don't work, bring it back. Because if it don't work, I got an episode out of it. If it works, and it was a real short episode. If it don't work, I can, pay it around for maybe 3 years about it. You know what I mean? And the price was right. So I was like, happy. I'm lugging these two huge amps through the thing. I was like next, year, amp month, you know what I mean? I'm set already, you know what I mean? And it ain't real heavy, you know what I mean? And I see this guitar leaning against the thing. I like to have that. That looks like something that would please me. Me gusta mucho. And I knew it was a Spanish guitar. And I looked right in at the label. He's like, that's an old one. He was like a younger guy, you know what I mean? Who was working on a bicycle, you know what I mean? I don't know. I guess he likes bicycles, you know what I mean? 20 bucks, I believe, you know what I mean? It kind of looks like his, kind of like that Wanna Strooch. Now, this particular instrument has some notes down here. At the end of the 19th century, Joseph Lolibet, he left Barcelona and went down to Argentina, according to the internet. You know what I mean? And he was a failure in Argentina. And he comes back a couple years later in Barcelona. And he's a failure there too, right? And then after a little while, he puts together a music publishing company. And they start making sheet music, and he makes some money. You know what I mean? It lasts about 50 years, and then somebody else takes over the company because he's like, hey, sheet music's out of the way. You know what I mean? I'm done with this shit. I'm out of here, Woo! You know what I mean? He sold to some other guy who realized in a couple of months, he's ooh, sheet music's out of his way. I'm at, oh, wait, I just bought this company. Fuck. You know what I mean? I got to do something to make some money. So Musical Emporium, as it was called right there, Barcelona decided to start selling instruments as well. And it became a famous, iconic place for all the Spanish, celebrity, whoever, Julio Iglesias. I don't even know who showed up there, but it was right in the middle of like Barcelona. You know what I mean? It was a real popular place. Music Emporium closed doors, 2014 forever. There's articles on the internet talking about how sad it was that the company was shuttered. All kinds of people were sad about it. I'm not really even that sad about it. This guitar, I'm happy to get. You know what I mean? It's beautiful condition. It's got the lacquer's kind of messed up. It's got a lot of problems on the back and the front as far as cracking go. But it's like, other than that, there's nothing bashed in. It's easy to kind of fix. It's an artisanal guitar, and it's got the biggest, fattest baseball bat neck that I ever played on one of these classical guitars. It's huge, 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 and it's got like the cool bracing like that Barcelona Wanna Street. So I'm gonna put it on the slab, right? I'm gonna show it to you a little bit closer. And read a little bit more personal with this beautiful instrument. A real Spanish guitar for you, right? So I'm gonna flip you around and we're gonna look at it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And here we are. I've had this guitar now for a couple of weeks, just sort of sitting around. I've been busy doing other things, really. So this morning I went down to the flea market, and it was like the same kind of day as it was when I got this guitar. It was like very, very cold. I didn't even really want to go, you know what I'm saying? This was a day where they said it was going to snow, but it never snowed. And the other time was like a day they didn't say anything about it, and it did kind of snow. Anyway, got some cool books. No guitars, but you know what I mean? It wasn't very many very, very cold days so far this winter. So I figured I'd give you some, valuable information about our climate. Here in the Jersey Shake. This also has a set of labella folk singer strings on it, man. I love these, you know what I mean? I just talked about them, I believe, in the last episode, man. I'm over the moon about them, Harry. I'm just wild about them. So, this is a very artisanal kind of guitar. It's not very, you know what I'm saying, distinguished by any other feature other than the huge neck. It's got a lot of sort of lacquer loss from like stickers and I guess glue or sanding block because of this water damage apparently. Now the best way to sort of, fix this is to dunk it in water, really, and get it totally moist. You know what I'm saying? Moisten it out. Because there's a lot of areas where that would sort of expand the wood again, because this has been damaged by sort of lack of proper hydration, man. I can just say it that way. It's just has been badly sort of put away, extremely soaking wet, and then oh no, what the fuck do I do now? You know what I'm saying? It's all fucked up, it's all jacked the fuck up. And somebody tried to sand it down, realized it wasn't that easy. So it would be really nice to just soak it, really, and then clamp it immediately for a couple of days with some books on it, You know what I'm saying? For a week or so, maybe even, Charlie. For some time, you know what I mean? Give it a little bit of time. So we're going to take these strings off of it. We don't want to damage this nice old label, man. That's sort of like the winner on this whole thing. This is a Music Emporium. It's kind of cool. So we're not going to want to just dump it in water, you know what I mean? We're going to cover that up. And we're going to want to pour boiling water in there. And then we're going to want to address this one separate, you know what I mean, while it's sitting on its front. It's going to be a difficult process there, Philip. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to do it. We're going to do it nicely for the people. So I'll see you in the laboratory. Right? We'll have all these strings up. Have them earth, man. Look at this nice little fine seated nut, man. I like to see that, man. It's actually pretty much the pitch, man. It's still being a played guitar. And the action's pretty nice on it, man. I can't really complain, For a big classical guitar like this, sometimes you want a little bit of height up here, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you really want it, but let's make things completely difficult. I can't even reach, Ma. You can't touch your toes and come back here in the kiddie pool. It's more piss than water. Anyway, I'll see you in the laboratory. See, there's all kinds of little messed up sections from water damage, including on the finish. You know what I mean? It's kind of ugly, but it's a nice guitar. It's a nice playing guitar. We're to try to bring it back to some of its glory. We're talking about glory, hallelujah. See you in the laboratory. Welcome back to the laboratory. I'm your host for the evening, but you never seen me before, and you may never see me again. Look at this label, man. You know, labels just make it look ancient. I love that cleating. It's like a Barcelona hallmark. I want a Struch has that too. Has it too. Needs a very serious round over. It's like the rosewood is shrinking up a little bit, and this is like, well, you can see it's had like a very nice round over done to it at one point. One pernt, it was all right. All slot heads on everything, man. You know what I'm saying? It's old styles, man. So what we're going to do, man, first and foremost, we want to protect this old label here. We've got some old wax paper. We got some different types of maxing tape, and we're going to max off that shit so it doesn't get wet in the next couple steps. So let's do that first, and I'll see you in a moment. Alright, so I got it all covered up, and I put a little plastic bag on top of it just to keep it double covered, man. Double cover you up there, double buddy. So, now what do I want to do, man? I want to take some of this old glue, man, before I do anything, and I just want to get it real seeped into these little cracks right there. And this one going down the center especially. So there was like a little centerpiece of wood. It's all whacked out of Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try to straighten that out right now. So let's put some of this glue all up in there. Upstairs I got a big carafe, about 2-liter carafe, Berlin with Berlin water, while I do this step right now so I can coordinate it time perfectly. See you outside after we're all glued up in about 5 minutes. Alright, so we're out in the freezing cold. As you can see, ooh, there's some glue in those cracks. Especially, man, the cracks in your mother's back, man. That's where we wanted the glue. So we have it just staying out here. I got a 2-liter carafe, freshly boiled water. This is kind of a dangerous job. Oh, you see that? Let's get this done, man. Let's get it done right now. We got it all ready for Freddy, man. The whole damn thing, man. I'm burning inside my foot there. Just let it seep right through that glue, right? See that? It's all seeping out. It's gonna come out. All right. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna leave it right here on the ground, on its back, up a little bit, like this. See that? Ooh. Just so it sort of seeps in that back there, and just let it set out, seep out. It'll seep out in about 5-6 minutes, man. I'll have to get a good look at that. See it? That's a little bit better, man. Let's let that boiling water just seep out that back there, man. That's where it's most buckled. Then what we're going to do, we're going to bring it downstairs when it's all empty. Just clamp it on that countertop, and I'll see you then, my good friends. See it? Just see it. Experience it. And here we are, folks, all clamped up. That's the only thing encyclopedias are really good for these days, man. Weighing things down. I got a really heavy box on that one side. Sort of center some of the mass. Another heavy box over here. I don't know if this is going to work. And I kind of looked at the sides here. I put like a heavy sharpening stone right against the side there to try to keep that binding in. I don't know. It might not come out at all. Try and do everything at once. It was relatively quick, you know. As soon as it was drained out of there, it took about 2 or 3 minutes to drain all the way out. We just brought it down here. We put a little bit more glue in there. Really, lots and lots of wax paper everywhere to make sure it doesn't stick. Let's give it a couple days, man. A couple years, man. Let it settle. We got a little one of these guys over here, hair dryer. We can just put them in there, dry that out a little bit because it is wet. We don't want it too wet, do we, William? No, we don't. So we'll dry that out intermittently over the next couple of days. We'll see you then, people. Peace be with you. It's been about 40 hours. Not quite 2 days. But I've been shooting a lot of hot air into the hole. The first day I was pretty much doing it at full speed, high heat, and then I did it at low speed, high heat. Only about, clips of 5 minutes. Very slowly rotated it back and forth in the hole. Trying to, the label kind of pulled up a little bit, and you can see that the hide glue actually kind of reactivated. You know what I mean, on everything, which is kind of good actually, because it seems to be clamped correctly. We're gonna find that out. The clamp. This is always key. I didn't mention that before. A nice piece of plexiglass. You know what I mean? A thick piece of this plastic. You know what I'm saying? With an encyclopedia and a board. We want to really protect the guitar from getting any kind of imprints on it. Then we got the wax paper, of course. We got all kinds of encyclopedias. A very heavy box that's got all kinds of dies in it. The thing weighs like 10 pounds. And we have it straight against the countertop. Just to review, I want you guys to see now that it's dried out a little bit. For the most part, it's probably about 78% dry, and we can let it dry. You know what I mean? It's been clamped. You know what I mean? And I put a nice clamp here to keep it at the end of the first evening, so it's all right. Let's take all this stuff off and examine what happened in the back there. That's what I'm really curious to see what happened. You know what I mean? Curiosity is getting the better of me. Let's check it out. There it is. Came out great. Totally flat. This is still pliable, so we can just put a pipe clamp on there and close that guy up. Pump a little bit of boiling water in there, which I have right here. Ready to do. There's one negative, though, on the front. I don't know, I guess the way I clamped it, or maybe the way the wood was warped after being old Baba G-ified. It kind of buckled in there, man. That's upsetting. So I'm going to pour a little bit of boiling water in that too. You know what I'm saying? Just see if I can pump it back up a little tiny bit. See what we can do, man. It's no big deal, but kind of upsetting. I'm a warts and all guy, man. I can show you my fucking losses also. Sometimes, you know what I mean? The hillbilly way isn't the right way. It looks pretty fucking good. See you in a moment after we get it all watered down. All right, so we have a pipe clamp down the back, pretty much just holding this binding tight. And the good news is we're able to tease that little bump back out, man. See that? Totally flat again. So we're not going to even clamp that. We're just going to let that glue do its job and just hold that piece where it needs to be. And just let this sit. You know what I mean? We got some clamping to do on the back, I guess. Maybe we won't even bother with it. Maybe we'll just, you know what I mean, fill it in with Bondo or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to mess with this guy too much. Is that, once you start cracking the binding, then you're all fucked. But the good news is, structurally, after this clamp is done, the thing's pretty much, you know what I mean, 1,000% structurally. You know what I mean? It's like a guitar shape. Nothing's sticking up. Everything's flat down. Everything's nice. Right? Nice for the people. See you in a moment after this is done clamping. Now we flipped it over. Then we put a little bit of glue here, and we're just bringing that in a little bit tighter. Just bringing it in a little tighter. We're not going to be able to close it completely. It's going to take a lot of work. We're going to end up filling most of it in. Well, it's looking a lot better. So as soon as that clamp's done, then we'll start just plugging the glue. So I'll see you then, man. We're just going to stick glue everywhere where it's missing. We're very close to being structurally 1,000%. And there we go. A lot of last minute clamping. Put up that plexiglass back down there just to keep it flat. I don't want any gap coming back to that little piece of middle wood, man. So it's been sitting like this for quite some time. Thinking I'm gonna unstrap it, bring it outside, and just Bondo some of these places that, you know what I mean, you use some Bondoing, right? Let's do that. I'll see you out there. See that? Fill it in a little bit, just here and there, man. Made a bit of a mess too. You know what I mean? Not afraid to admit it. Let's let this dry out here in the late afternoon, sort of. quiet. You know what I mean? The late afternoon quiet. I'll see you back downstairs soon. Peace be with you. Welcome back to the laboratory. You see that, Jimmy? I just cameoed on my own self. Yeah, man, we cameo on ourselves sometimes. We have to do it. So here it is, man. The only place we really filled in was over here. We stuck a little bit in here. That's about it. We really kind of smeared a little tiny bit in here. It was kind of like not even worth it because I saw it was kind of hard to clean up. So let's like clean this guy up a little bit. There's a lot of schmutz on here. Stuff. See that little schmutz cam? Let's take some alcohol, and we're also going to take some acetone and sort of some of the stuff's like really whited out from the, you know what I'm saying, the treatment that we gave it with the boiling water. See how this is all whited out, kind of. We're going to put a little bit of acetone on those areas, just sort of unfade it. Even though it's no big deal, because we're going to sort of darken it up a little bit. We want to darken up a little bit. Get this guy good again. So let's like clean this guy up with alcohol, and then we'll finish it up with furniture polish. Alcohol, acetone, a little bit of water, furniture polish. We don't need you anymore, man. You're all glued out, man. Pretty sure, man. Pretty sure, man. Let's start washing it up. All right? Yeah, how was that cameo there, Jimmy? It was all right. It was all right. I seen better, though. The fuck you talking about? You seen better, you fucking dumbass. All right, so we got it all cleaned up. We got all the miscellaneous stuff off of it. You know what I'm saying? It's looking a little bit more dapper, man. It's a very lightweight guitar. Considering how big it is, you know, how hefty it feels. Very lightweight, like beautiful kind of wood. Anyway, it looks ugly now, but we're going to change that real soon. But before we do that, let's give a little bit of some love to this. It says a terrible needs a round overdone. And there's a lot of fret jobs on here. You can see that the frets have been sort of ground down to like nothing, to little nubs. So it's gone through a couple fret jobs. Don't think there's anything uneven going on, but we're going to run the block around it, get it real nice for the people. We're going to treat this with mineral Earl. See when we're all greased up, when we're all fretted up, and round it over. So like I expected, the frets were actually very level. It was very well done. But we gave a little shape to them with the fret file. We did a beautiful round over. Greased it up with a little bit of mineral Earl. We'll let it sit in for, I don't know, some time. Just let it sit in slowly. Slowly, Thomas. Slowly. Let's let it seep for at least 25 minutes. Half hour, maybe. 45 if I'm feeling randy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, fuck out of here. Who are you, motherfucker? I told you, this is my private quarter. Peace be with you, always. Now it's the next day. We wiped off all the grease that was sitting on there. It's all dried up. You know what I'm saying? Put a lot of glue in there. Let's put a little bit of this lemon oil everywhere. I don't have to really put it on the fretboard, but everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it all greased up and let it set in. See after it's darkened out. Slipping into darkness. So I wiped it down, the grease, man. This old Wilbert, old lemon oil, man. And then I wiped the grease off of it. I just let it set for like 8 hours, 9 hours. And it's kind of dry now. We still see some patches where oil's still seeping out from the mineral oil treatment of the rosewood. It looks ugly here because that's the lacquer we poured. Well, the hot boiling water in it, some of the lacquer was like bunched up and like sort of like, what do we do? Where do we go? And this lacquer right here was underneath some glue that was Elmer's glue that we peeled off. The first guy, so it didn't get messed up. It's like all nasty looking. We could take, we take a variety of things. We could strip it and refinish it, which is really long, or we can just deal with it. You know what I mean? Or we could spend hours and hours trying to even this out with acetone. We can do that too. Another thing I'm not going to do. But these are just options that I'm not going to take. So this part, we're going to do some maxing. Maxing what? Well, first of all, we got this thing down here. We fill that in with burn dough. We're going to take some acrylic paint. We're just going to try to max that off, man. Mask it off. Mask it off. And we're going to try to go down this guy and just make him a little bit lighter. A little bit less noticeable. What? Like you really care, and it looks like somebody vomited down the side of the guitar. Looked like a little gnome came straight out this fucking sound hole and puked down this whole fucking side. And the puke just all over the place, man. Maybe it did. That's what we're trying to preserve. See you in a second. You see that? Not really, right? That's where it was, too. All right. The front, I mean, we can't really do too much on the front there. It's going to get wiped off, you know what I mean, as soon as we put on the old wax. So let's do that right now. Some butcher's wax. Let's wipe down all the residuals. There's still some stuff coming out of here, oozing out of there. And let's coat everything up with some butcher's wax, man. It's a kind of big guitar. Lightweight, but big. I see when we're all shiny, but not too sheeny. Not too shiny. Not like a real bowling alley. You know what I'm saying? So you see that? You see that? It's a much more tolerable looking instrument. You know what I'm saying? It's not as bad as it was. You know what I'm saying? It's got a little bit of sort of a semi-gloss to it. You know what I'm saying? If you look at it and you study it, and you see it, it's kind of like a little less uneven. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? This thing's never going to win any prizes for looks. Let's see what it sounds like, man. Let's put these back on. I'll see you at the glamour shots. Shall we? Yes, we shall. See you there. Oh, there it is, man. This thing ain't half bad. This thing ain't really half that bad. It's a pretty formidable guitar. Could use a better set of strings. I would go with like a light gauge sort of, you know, clear nylon string with it. This is what I would do. You know what I mean, if I was a rich man. Hey, man. Like I said, man, it's not coming in first on looks anywhere. But it's definitely not coming in last on sound. And it's not really that bad now that it's been sort of waxed. You know what I mean? It's got a little ugliness to it, funk. The Musical Emporium. I remember talking about the Music Emporium from Long Branch before the all. I bought a Rickenbacker there. Ricky got his Stratocaster there. Bassmark got something there. I forget exactly what it was. I think it hit a Rickenbacker as well. So there it is, folks. Artisanal guitar from the Catalonian province of Barcelona, right? Just moving around on its own. Oh, it's haunted. It's like the Ouija guitar. Tell me, spirits, does this guitar actually sound good? Oh, it's pointing to me. Maybe I sound good. Anyway, let's hear it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I could make all kinds of stupid jokes all day long, man. Right, spirits? It's pointing that way. Hey, man, he's messing with it, man. He's pushing on it. Look, he's doing it all by himself. Let's hear it, man. I got nothing else to say, really. And I already said it already. You know what I mean? Nothing else to say. One thing I noticed, though, this is being held in by a tack. You see that tack? It even goes in through there. This thing's obviously been played quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? It's got a lot of miles on it, as they say, man. So, I mean, that means something. Nobody's going to sit around and play a horrible guitar to the frets are barely even, like, you know what I mean, there anymore, right? So, let's hear it, man. Blah, blah, blah. See you in 0.2 of a millisecond. And there it is. The Musical Emporium. Artisanal guitar. Made somewhere in the past 60, 70 years in the outskirts of Barcelona. They speak Catalan in Barcelona, not necessarily Spanish. More Catalan. Just so you know, man. set of strings, this boy be humming. You know what I'm saying? I really have too much to say today. Be peaceful with yourself and your brethren. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself a break here and there. This week marks the 80th anniversary of the birth of George Harrison. George Harrison, the youngest Beatle. I think he was only like 54 or something when he died. Put that in perspective, right? You're getting old too, right? Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say, it's alright. Hey man, George Harrison, rest in peace, my good man. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. I don't know the rest of the stuff, but they go on forever in that song. Great song. Listen to some George Harrison this week if you have a couple minutes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just keep the spirit alive, man. I love you guys. I'll see you next time if there's a next time. Peace be with you.